What is up, my friends? How are we? This is going to be a long stream because we have so much to go through. Normally during the international breaks, I'm struggling for topics, but today, well, it's like a smorgasbord of Liverpool news. So strap yourselves in, sit back, relax, and I'm going to do my best over the next however long to fill you in on everything that's happened over the last 24 hours because it's been a lot, to say the least. We're going to be speaking about some updates around the David Coote situation. I'm going to be giving you my take on why Gary Neville needs to stop lying. We're also going to be speaking about MARMOUSH, Mohamed Salah. We're going to be looking a little bit around some rule changes that have been proposed in football. Yeah, more. Lots of other bits and pieces as well. So, as always, thank you guys for being here. If you're watching this back later on, appreciate your time. We'd love to know your thoughts in the comment section of this video. And of course, look, we'd love you to hit that subscribe button and drop a like as well. My friends, I have a lot to go through tonight. And I know that you're all going to want me to dip back into the David Coote stuff. And I will. But I just, as always, want to make sure that we get everybody into the chat before we start talking, because I hate annoying people by going back over everything. So, Friday, 2 days to go. We're in Liverpool. If you've got your tickets, can't wait to come and see you guys. If you haven't, still a chance for you to grab them. You can use the link at the top of the chat. I can't wait to get back over to the great city of Liverpool and say hello to everyone again. Mike Manser, thank you, bro, for getting your membership sorted out and coming back with us, bro. Appreciate that. Doug, I like what you've done here, Doug. You know, I don't even need to make any jokes about this one, my man. You've nailed it for me, Doug. Said, evening, Craig. David Coote is a great linesman. Yeah. I don't know what to say because, you know, but also, I like what you've done there, Doug. Good tone to get us started tonight. Now, look, I want to say a huge thank you. The amount of people who've commented in support of my little rant around Sky and referees and that whole debacle yesterday, it means a lot to me to see so many people being supportive in the comments, because it was something I felt passionately about, which I hope you could see in the clip. And if you haven't had a chance to watch it, please do. It's the other video about David Coote that's up, although he doesn't really feature prominently in the video. It's more about my take on the whole refereeing nonsense that we get rammed down our throats from the media. So appreciate your support on that one. And I did read through a lot of the comments as well, and thank you to everyone that was with us. So, oh God, where do I start tonight? Honestly, I'm a little bit confused as to where we should start because there is so much. I want to thank Craig and Anfield Agenda for liking my referee comment. Mate, look, pleasure to have you in. Thank you for contributing to our community with your comments. Right, look, two things. I guess I'm going to go in to speak about the David Coote situation in a moment, because it's Gary Neville today that has me annoyed, more so than the extra video that we've seen around David Coote, because I'll give you my take on all of it in a couple of minutes' time. I'm just making sure I'm in the right headspace before I start talking, because obviously I've got to be careful what I say. I don't want to get our community in trouble, but I don't want to hold back either. And I think Gary Neville has shown himself up yet again. So I will give you my take on that in a moment. A few other bits and pieces, though, that we need to go through. So apparently FIFA are thinking of messing around with the whole VAR system now, and referees are going to have to get challenges from managers according to the new FIFA system. So we'll talk about what that might entail. This coming out earlier on said, FIFA considering replacing VAR with football video support. Only 4 or 5 cameras are needed and there is no referee video. Managers can request the referee to review his decision twice per match. If they lose the first review, they don't get a second review. The referee will go to what they're calling FVS again, football video support, only when requested by managers. He can't review a decision himself. It's interesting. I wish that they would come to some type of understanding and stop dicking about with football, because over the course of my lifetime I've seen golden goals come and go, silver goals come and go, VAR not be in, VAR introduced, VAR changed, offside technology come in, goal line technology, some of it good, some of it bad. But ultimately, I wish they'd just stop messing around with everything and just get back to simplifying the game that we all love. This is going to be interesting to see, though, if FIFA do bring it in and how it's going to be I guess, received by the footballing world. We don't know too much about it as of yet, but it is certainly something that is on the agenda to be discussed. The more changes they make, the worse it gets, said ST Nature. Yes, absolutely. And also I'm going to be talking tonight about more stories around Martin ZUBIMENDI, this time from the likes of Fabrizio Romano and David Ornstein, and there does seem to be a growing belief that maybe ZUBIMENDI is having second thoughts about his future. So we'll cover that over the course of the night as well. Also, we'll be talking about the father of two from Liverpool who's been locked up for selling dodgy fire sticks, whose solicitor has described him as a sort of Robin Hood. And I'll be discussing that a little bit tonight as well, because I like the sentiment from his solicitor. So I'll be asking you for your take on that. Finley, thank you, bro, for your super chat. Appreciate you. Hi, Craig. How's things going? So happy you're staying. Thank you, Finley. I'm happy I'm staying too, mate. Looking forward to Friday as well. I can't wait to get back over to Liverpool and catch up with everybody. I'm really excited about that one. So, right. Now I think we've waited long enough for everybody to come in. So I'm going to read you out a couple of things in a moment, and then I'm going to give you some context on it. So today, ladies and gentlemen, another video made its way into the world. I think it was leaked by The Rag initially, but it's made its way into social media, and many people have watched this video. Now, to give you context to the video, somebody who appears to look a lot like David Coote is seen to be snorting white powder off what looks like a locker or something in a hotel. It is claimed that it was after the Euros, and it is also claimed that it is cocaine. Now, we don't know 100%. None of us can say if it is cocaine or it isn't cocaine. But what I would like to say is, if David Coote does have an issue around drug use and cocaine, sincerely, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. And I hope, if that is the case, that he gets the support that he would need, because as much as I'm angered by his decisions and by his video speaking about Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp and the way that he has, I would never wish addiction or the battle that comes with it to anybody. So I do sincerely hope, if that is the case, that he receives all the support that he needs, because anybody who is anybody knows somebody who suffered with addiction in some form in their life. So I want to make sure that I put that out there before, because I'm not a heartless clown. I do feel for David in this situation from that regard. The other stuff, well, look, I've got my own thoughts on that. And what I'd say here is, let's say for a second this is proven, and it is Colombian marching powder that he's partaking in that video. I've seen a lot of people rally around again to speak supportively about it, and that's okay. But I think it does also fuel a consideration to, has he become vulnerable? Does he owe money? If he owes money, who does he owe it to? Is it to people who could maybe lean on him to influence decisions in games? These things, whilst not proven and are absolutely just a talking point, they again have to be spoken about honestly, because I've seen the likes of Gary Neville come out and say, oh, this video is really nothing that too big. He should just be stopped from refereeing Liverpool games. Surely Gary Neville knows that if David Coote was just stopped from refereeing Liverpool games, as an example, that if there was an inbuilt dislike or bias against Liverpool, stopping him refereeing Liverpool games simply isn't enough, because we've seen before the Rodri incident when he was in charge or on VAR for I think he was linesman for that game. You can still impact teams when you're not refereeing them directly. If he's involved in the Premier League whatsoever, I would argue that potential bias is still there. So Gary Neville has angered me a lot today. And again, I speak from a position of respecting Gary's work as a pundit, but also sick of the nonsense that he's spouting. I'm going to read you quotes from Gary Neville, and then I'm going to tell you why he's a liar. Okay? And I don't say that word lightly. He is a liar. So what he said is, it'll bring great disappointment to David and the refereeing community. He's called Jurgen Klopp the C word, which is obviously a very aggressive word. But I didn't see anything within his words that told me he had influenced decisions in a wrong way or that he was trying to do Liverpool over. I hope they can get through it. If there had been any suggestion that he was making decisions against Liverpool or another club, I would say he has to go. He has called the manager a word because he has a bad relationship with him and they've had an argument. It was very sloppy. I'm sure there will be something that he will regret for the rest of his life. But from the point of view of cancelling him, I'm not sure. The minute you cancel him as a Premier League referee, you're effectively cancelling him from the game. I'm not sure any organisation would look at him and offer him the chance to join. He carries on. I actually think the worst words in the video were said by the guy sat next to him. And then he quotes it to say, "I hate Scousers," because that demonstrates a hatred of a group of people which includes Liverpool and Everton. David Coote never said those words himself. He's been stitched up and it's a mess. It looks like he got drunk and let his mate film him, which is stupid. We've all done silly things. We've had too many drinks. It could become impossible for him to go into the Premier League grounds or referee Liverpool again. We know that certain referees don't take charge of matches at Old Trafford or Anfield or at other grounds because of their allegiance. For David Coote to be removed from Liverpool games would be a good step. In employment law, if you call somebody a name, it's a warning. I don't feel it's a sacking or a dismissal. Taking him off Liverpool games and giving him a final warning is what should happen. So, let me just backtrack here a little bit and tell you why Gary Neville's a liar. Because firstly, Gary Neville says that his mate stitched him up in that video and that his mate said, "I hate Scousers." Gary Neville knows damn well that that's not what was said in that video. Anybody who's watched the video knows damn well what was said. And what was said was, the word we hate Scousers. So Gary, if David Coote didn't have something against Scousers, wouldn't he at that moment perhaps interject to say, "Don't speak for me there, fella, you're speaking for yourself"? But he didn't. And why is that, Gary? Why might that be? And also, Gary, why are you trying to change the narrative here, fella? Because saying it was his mate and David didn't say it and the "I hate Scousers" part, well, that backs up the point that you're trying to make, Gary, doesn't it? But the point that you're trying to make is invalidated, Gary, because you're lying. Again, a top journalist, a pundit in a position of power, trying to influence this situation with his lies. Gary Neville should know better than this, and quite frankly, I'm sick of Gary Neville sticking his nose in, pun intended, where it doesn't belong. Gary Neville is entitled to have an opinion on anything, the same as anybody else. But when you have a position of power and you try to influence the narrative around a situation with falsehood and lies, I think, Gary, that has to be called out, and he's lying. So a couple of other things in this video that he said about the fact that there's been no proof that he influenced Liverpool games. What, do you want him to come out and say it, Gary? You want him to come out and go, "Yeah, Jurgen Klopp's a Liverpool Scousers are, and also I stitched up all their games." Whoa! He's not going to do that, Gary, is he? Because no human being is that stupid to actually come out and say that when someone's there with a camera in their face. And also, Gary, one more thing. You say he had a few drinks with his mates. Anybody that watched that video, and I do mean anybody, knows that most likely he wasn't just having a few drinks. Anybody that's seen it, from our friends of 442 Tunes who made a good comedy video about it, to anybody else thinks perhaps, just perhaps, there may have been another substance ingested there. But we can't prove that, can we, Gary? But we also can't prove that he was just drunk. So once again, Gary, I would ask politely that you stop sticking your nose into situations when you're trying to steer a narrative to back up referees that you have, for some reason, given carte blanche to do whatever the fuck they want. It's not good enough. Sky should know better, as I said yesterday, and Gary should absolutely know better. And once again, these people need to be held to account. He absolutely said, "We hate Scousers." 100% said that. So for Gary Neville to come out and say what he said is absolutely disgusting, and it needs to be called out because he has the power to influence these decisions. And some Manchester United fans, with their straw man arguments, trying to compare this to Jamie Carragher spitting at somebody? In what way does Jamie Carragher spitting at somebody potentially change the course of history? Potentially change a title race or a relegation battle? It doesn't, but you know that. The only reason you want to drag it back to Carragher is because you're showing your dislike of Liverpool. And what Jamie Carragher did was absolutely disgusting. But we all held Jamie to account. He apologised and he's moved on with his career. To even try to compare these two things, as some fans have done, is petty, it is idiotic, and it is no accident why they're doing this either. What platform do you think I might be talking about here with regards to these comments? You know what I'm talking about. So, Gary, stop sticking your nose in, shut the fuck up, or come and debate somebody who will actually hold you to account. Because I'm sick of sitting, watching you on the overlap with all of these brown noses who haven't got a backbone or the balls to call you out. I will, and I'll continue to do it. I don't give a damn about you, Sky, TalkSport, or any other outlet that you sit with a microphone lying through your teeth on. He absolutely said, we hate Scousers. And you said it yourself, Gary. If we're lumping them in together with the word hating Scousers, it includes Liverpool and Evertonians. You've said it yourself, Gary. You've tripped yourself up. You said, and I'm going to quote you here, 1 second. He said, where is it? Let me just get it here. David Coote never said those words himself. He's been stitched up and it's a mess. It looks like he's got drunk and his mate filmed them. It could be impossible for him to give the Premier League grounds a referee Liverpool again. Blah, blah, blah. I actually think the worst words in the video were said by the guy sat next to him. I hate Scousers, because that demonstrates a hatred of a group of people, which includes Liverpool and Everton. So, Gary, in your own words, he's demonstrated a hatred of the people of Liverpool, both from a red and blue perspective. Your words, Gary. I'm just bringing a bit of truth to the situation. So, fully expect a retraction on that one, Gary, because again, you know your position of power, you know you have the ability to change the narrative on these situations, and you're doing it, but you're doing it deceitfully, sir. So please, come back, retract what you've said, and call Coote out for his hatred of Scousers, because the word we implies a group, implies us, implies everybody that was in that video. And he didn't correct his mate, Gary, did he? No. So what might we glean from that, Gary? That perhaps, just maybe, they do actually hate Scousers. So if we can start from there and have a genuine, forthright, honest conversation that maybe, just maybe, there are some inherent biases, subconsciously or consciously, towards referees with other clubs or managers, then we can be adults. Until then, stop trying to shape the narrative to suit what you want to happen. It's disgusting and you should be above it. And I'm not wrong. And I had no want to come on here today to call Neville out again. But I'm absolutely sick to my back teeth of that man inputting his nose where it doesn't belong. Trying to make out again about respect for referees. Trying to victim blame yet again. Trying to bring employment law into it. Have they been drug tested, Gary? Because I'd really like to know if there's anything in the PGMOL's rules about, I don't know, Class A substances as an example. So, yes, it needs to be investigated. And yes, all the facts need to be discovered. But what you're trying to do, Gary, is jump 3 steps ahead and come to the conclusion that, well, he should be just stopped from refereeing Liverpool games. No, Gary, you know damn well that that wouldn't be good enough, because you can still impact Liverpool, Everton, or any other team by your actions in other games. You know that, though. Be better. Sorry, folks. It just stitches me up and winds me up something fierce when I see this man once again try to make his view, which is clearly a falsehood, fact. The fact is, the word was, we hate Scousers. And they call us conspiracy theorists. They say that this will empower conspiracy theorists. How about looking at the underlying numbers behind Coote's officialdom of Liverpool? How about looking at the impact that it clearly had on games? Then putting this together with his clear dislike of Scousers and certainly Jurgen Klopp, and I think we can maybe form a picture that we aren't conspiracy theorists with tinfoil hats on. That maybe, just maybe, we have a damn point. And again, it'd be easier for me to just sit here and say nothing, because, you know, what I do when I speak out like this is basically just make sure I'm never getting any opportunities. I'm never getting near the television. I'm never getting near mainstream stuff. But you know what? Unlike Professor Neville, I really do care about the game. I really do care about transparency. I really do care about the good of the sport. Not just myself or my club, the sport in general. Football, English football fans, the Premier League deserve better. We deserve honesty. And yes, refereeing is a difficult job. Nobody's tried to say otherwise. But stop telling us we're inventing these things. Stop telling us that there's no reason to believe that perhaps a referee hasn't shafted a team because of a dislike or because of any other reason. It is a possibility, and we have to investigate it as such. Jack said there's been another video released of him sniffing the eyebrows off Santa. Look, there is a video. We don't know the substance. We've got to be very clear on that. You know, it looks like it's, let's say, to say the least, a stimulant of some type. And there's a couple of things about that video, by the way, that I would have a question on. The second video. The note that he's rolling up looks like $1 to me. Now, of course, I'm no currency expert, but if it was after the Euros, I don't know, bit weird that they're there with $1, if it is $1. But either way, I don't even, you know, I've got sympathy for Coote if he has an issue around substances. Substance abuse is not something I take lightly. I come from a family with addiction issues. I understand it, and if he has got a problem with it, sincerely, I hope he gets the support that he deserves, because I wouldn't wish addiction on my worst enemy. I would not. So from that regard, I hope David Coote, if he has an issue, gets the support that he needs. But after that, can we stop pulling up the shutters and pretending that there isn't a damn problem here? Because there is. Anyway, let's go through some of the actual news. And again, keep your thoughts coming in, my friends. VI Jokers, thank you, sir, for your super chat. Appreciate you. Said, Gary deep down loves us, but can't admit it. Look, I think Neville can be a great pundit, like I've said many times. But he isn't above manipulation, and he isn't above changing a narrative. And today, he has been deceitful, and he's lied. And he's lied to try and form a narrative to make the situation better for David Coote and referees. Again, undermining the credibility of the whole argument. The man said the word "we" that was sitting next to him. We all know it. I rewatched the video before I did this stream just to make sure I had it right. And he clearly says, after a few other things like Liverpool are Klopp is and we hate Scousers. We, Gary, which would then imply, you know, if I'm sitting beside my mate and my mate turns around and said, we hate, I don't know, Americans, I'd go, hang on a minute there, mate. I don't hate Americans. Why would I hate Americans? If I disagreed. But he didn't, did he, Gary? Troy King said, is this a coincidence? After the game, the video was released and this video was taken in 2020. Look, I don't know how the video got into the world, but if both videos are true, and it looks like they could very well be, it speaks to, again, the mindset of somebody. Why is he allowing all this to be videoed? Why would he allow a conversation where he's calling Klopp a you-know-what to be videoed? He's an idiot. And that's at a minimum. And that's before he sees somebody, must have been inches away from him, filming him snorting white lines. Are you mad? Like, are we going to talk about this being a rational-minded person who's able to make subjective decisions the right way? Because I wouldn't allow that to happen. We've all done and said stupid shit. I'm open to that one. But I'm not, like, again, I'll use the analogy. That's like me cheating on my wife and the person I'm cheating with recording it and me waving to the camera going, hi, honey. I wouldn't do it because I'm not a moron. Right. Should we talk about transfers for a minute? Just to get away from this clusterfuck of nonsense. I can't bring up that super chat, mate. I can't bring it up. I can't touch that comment. Sorry, Edison, I can't, mate. Because that's an allegation I'm not touching. Right, so there's a report in Bild today in Germany that claims Omar Marmoush has decided that he wants to join Liverpool. and that a transfer is now being lined up. A fee between 50 million and 60 million euro is expected to be satisfactory for the German side, Eintracht Frankfurt, and according to the article, talks have already started between Liverpool and the German side. Other clubs are said to be very interested in the Egyptian, but it's claimed that Liverpool are top of his list. That makes me very happy. But again, I would still question, why would we be bringing in Omar Marmoush? You know, I think we as fans would need the answer to the second part of that before we get overly excited. Because I don't want Marmoush to come in because we've lost Salah. It would be still a very good signing, don't get me wrong. But we don't want it to be at the expense of the great man. We'd like the great man to stay around, and maybe Omar Marmoush to come in because the club feel, I don't know, another forward maybe is available to be sold. Something like that. And I don't know the answer to this one, so I'm not going to start guessing at what it might be. But if there is truth to Liverpool being interested in Marmoush, yes please. Yes please. That would make me very, very, very happy. Oh, and by the way, to some other arsehole who tried to jump into the comments with more whataboutery on the Coote video yesterday and said, this from the man who said that, what's his name again? Simon Jordan is the reason why everybody hates English people. That's not what I said. What I actually said was, if you want to find a reason as to why some people dislike certain English people, well, Simon Jordan is that reason. He is the epitome of what people would dislike about an English person. And I followed that up with, and if you wanted to see an example of why people love English people and the sense of humour, look at Eddie Hearn. But you neglected to mention the rest of that, didn't you? Because it didn't suit your little narrative of trying to seem offended at me saying everyone hates English people when I never fucking said it. So again, I'll always stand over my words. I will always face up to any comments, but at least get it right. Because trying to cancel me or make out like you're offended, it tells more of the fact that you just don't like me and you don't want me to do well. Because I know what I said. The clip is still up there for anybody to have a look at. And I would never insult my main audience. Because, and this might come as a surprise to you, I don't hate English people. I actually think 99.99% of you are sound. I'd have more issues with some of my own countrymen and women at times than I would English people. So stop trying to cancel me. Stop trying to feign offence. I didn't say it in the way that you're trying to make out I did. Sorry about that. Just had to clear that up because he says he stops watching the content, but I know you're there. I know you're watching like a good little boy. So on Marmoush, I gotta get a poll going on this one. 1 second. No, actually, do you know what? I'm going to ask, do you believe the Omar Marmoush stuff? 1 second. Right, so, question is, do you believe that Liverpool are negotiating for Marmoush? I think that's the best way I can word this one. Can I make an observation on Coote? Is this not blackmail territory? No, because I don't know of again, I'm no legal professional, but in any blackmail situation there would have to be a do something or else kind of scenario, wouldn't there? And I don't know if there was. Or look, I can't say there wasn't, but I don't know if there was either. I would say be careful who you're around would be my advice, because there was only, that we know of, 2 people in that first video, and the video got out. How did it get out would be my first question. And the guy sitting beside him was a former cricketer, and I believe David Coote's father was a Notts batsman, if I'm not mistaken, a professional cricketer, very successful one I believe as well beforehand. So you can see why maybe they'd have an in there around cricket or whatever, which is sound. Of course you're allowed to like other sports and do whatever, like, but I'd be careful who you have around me, because that guy clearly, at the very least, was careless with the video. Curtis Lang said, it's said that Liverpool people are looked down on from English people as if there was any other club be sacked by now. Look, it's not for me to do the investigation. Let the PGMOL and the Premier League go about their work and their business. Let them do it thoroughly, professionally and properly. And let them support their colleague all the way through it as well. I've no issue with any of that. This situation will be dealt with correctly by the authorities. I've no doubt about it. My issue is with Neville and others trying to steer this narrative away from the truth about what was said and trying to deflect it away to say that Coote in no way showed any dislike to Liverpool. He didn't correct his mate. Neville lied when he said I, it was we. And also Neville said that there'd be no other refereeing board or league that would touch him. Whereas only yesterday there was talk of a possible out for him to Saudi Arabia to referee over there. Like, the way Neville goes on, it is genuinely embarrassing at times. And this is coming from me, by the way. I know I can be embarrassing at times. I don't need to be told that. But this bullshit has to be called out. Because before Neville even had his rant, there was talk of him getting a job in Saudi. And there was a narrative that maybe an escape route could be there for him. It's just, we deserve better. We really do. There is going to be a reckoning. Because people are fed up of being told how to feel. Being told what they're seeing with their own eyes isn't the case. And being told that we're all foolish and conspiracy theorists. It just isn't good enough. Football and the public deserve better. You can't tell us about morality and then tell us when we see a lack of morality that we're wrong. We don't like being spoken down to. People don't like being belittled and having people do the thinking for them. Give the people the evidence and let the people make up their own minds. Curtis Lang, welcome to Anfield Agenda Ultras, bro. Appreciate you. Dylan Adams said, it seems like it was being sent to a group chat. That's possible. That is possible. I had wondered because the language and the way he used in the video, like, we're good people, we don't do that. It did seem like he was talking from a plural perspective. So, yeah, could have well been a group chat. I'd wondered, was he maybe sharing it to, I don't know, Snapchat or something. But that, again, would be very foolish. So, yeah, that could well be the case, Dylan. Rachel, thank you for gifting a membership. Appreciate you. So, more news. Again, there's multiple reports of this Sport Bill stuff about Liverpool and Marmoush. But, for a moment, I wanted to just bring you to ZUBIMENDI and some updates in and around this situation. So, David Ornstein, top-tier journalist, has said, ZUBIMENDI has been targeted by the likes of Arsenal and Liverpool, and so far he has resisted the chance to depart the Basque side. However, the admiration continues, and then he puts googly eyes and a countdown emoji. So I can't say that David is indicating that Liverpool are close to it or anything, but if you couple that with some of the stuff from the likes of Romano, who has said Liverpool on a constant basis are still monitoring Martin ZUBIMENDI. So it feels like it might be us. And I hope he's changed his mind. I hope that he would like to come to Liverpool. But I can't get too excited about it yet until I know for a fact that that may be the case. So we'll wait and see what happens on that one. I've got to, again, call out another story coming out of Italy. There seems to be this desire for Federico Chiesa to somehow be coming back to Italy because the Italians seem to really miss him. Because every day there is another story coming out around Chiesa. And today's one comes again from Inter Live, who say Federico Chiesa is unhappy at Liverpool after struggling for game time and could return back to Serie A in January. Again, that's not why he's not getting game time. He's not struggling because the manager just doesn't like him or doesn't want him in the squad. He needs to get up to the level of fitness required so he doesn't pick up knocks and injuries. It's not hard to grasp. Chiesa isn't being cold-shouldered by Arne Slot or anything. And to the best of my understanding, I haven't seen any journalist from the Liverpool side or the English side or from within the club suggest Chiesa is unhappy. To the contrary, he looked like he was buzzing to be in Liverpool. And the man's a professional. He will understand that his fitness levels need to get to ones that he hadn't been to yet because he didn't have a pre-season, because he was being frozen out with Juventus. So it feels like Italian clubs just want him back in Italy for some reason. I can get that. I can appreciate that. But stop lying about it. Again, it just looks petty. So, I said to you at the start of the stream, we're going to have a bit of a more, I guess, I don't want to call it a light-hearted story because it isn't, but you've all probably seen the news in the last couple of days of the father of two who sold dodgy fire sticks, letting people stream Premier League matches, who has been jailed for more than 3 years. Well, his solicitors has an interesting take, to say the least. This is some of what his solicitors had to say. Whether or not he made a significant profit is an issue which is raised. The point should be made on his behalf that people who want to buy his products would not be people who are likely to have the money to buy a Sky Sports subscription. They've limited income. The people he would be dealing with in the Merseyside area would hardly be the same as toffs in London, who would have money coming from the city. He was providing a service to people who would probably not be able to afford it otherwise. There's an element of a Robin Hood to all of that. If ever I end up in court for anything, I would like that solicitor, please, making these type of arguments on my behalf, because to twist that into the Robin Hood element, that's some creative legal work there. Don't know if it'll work with the courts, but there you go. Robin Hood. It is a good point though about the people maybe buying that service ultimately wouldn't be able to afford a Sky subscription. I think that speaks to the growing expense for football fans and trying to even watch the game these days. But yeah, that one just made me laugh a little bit. So the transfer links, by the way, haven't stopped, because Graham Bailey has said that Liverpool have been keeping tabs on Ajax defender Joral Haddo, who has become a top target. The 18-year-old can play at left back, but is seen as a long-term centre-half prospect. So I don't know much about Haddo. I've seen his name mentioned. It is interesting though, because we are having a conversation as fans right now about the left side of defence and maybe for the future. So again, maybe keep an eye on that name in this situation. When I speak with David Lynch early next week, I will certainly ask him, is there much substance to that link? Martin Pickering, how are you, sir? Said, Marmoush purchase a change of formation to 4-2-4. Look, I'm an attack-minded football fan. I love the idea of a 4-2-4. And I think it would certainly give us a possibility, Martin, to look at a 4-2-4 in the right environment. But, if you're going away from home in a difficult game, maybe you'll want a more compact three in midfield. But I'm not against it, bro. I'm definitely a football fan who likes to go attack, attack, attack. So I wouldn't be against the 4-2-4, particularly if you brought in a ZUBIMENDI to sit in there as the second midfielder alongside Gravenberch with a more attack-minded person ahead. It's certainly food for thought. Oh, by the way, one more thing. I have 2 free tickets to the show on Friday that somebody is unable to go, sent them back to me. So if there's somebody out there who is around Liverpool on Friday, would like to come and say hello and see the show, if you want to email me, contact@AnfieldAgenda.com. Only if you're actually able to go, and I can pass on those 2 tickets if anybody would like them. This person didn't want them to go to waste and very kindly said to me, lash them out if somebody wants to go. LFC Keith said, the UK market has changed more for Sky TNT than any other country in the world to watch the Premiership. And here's the thing, bro, as I'm sure you know, and we still can't watch every game. It's mental. I have to have a DAZN Spain subscription on top of my Sky subscription, my TNT subscription, my Amazon Prime subscription, my Premier Sports subscription. So yeah, it's galling that in this day and age we've got subscriptions coming out the yin yang, and we can't watch every game legally or without getting creative. I think the reason Liverpool told Alisson, not Kelleher, about Mamardashvili is because Ali is leaving and Kelleher will be the first choice. Has there been any... I don't know what you mean about not telling Kelleher. I don't believe that Liverpool were trying to keep it a secret that they signed Mamardashvili, but look, I am intrigued by what happens in the goalkeeping department. As I've said before, it's going to be an interesting 12 months in that regard. Right now we're spoiled. You know, we've got Alisson, Kelleher, Jarosz, and we know we've got Mamardashvili to come in the summer as well. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that one all pans out. Does the Spanish DAZN show all Premier League games? Yes, it does, Dara. And look, it's legal as well, by the way. But yes, it does show all Premier League games. It does. I don't think it shows the Champions League. I think somebody else has those rights. But whenever I can't watch a Liverpool game on my Sky subscription or my TNT subscription or my Premier Sports subscription, or I will look at the DAZN subscription that we have. So yeah, I mean, for me personally, I think just to watch football, along with everything else you'd have to have Sky and the broadband and whatnot, I think I pay Sky about £200 a month. Craig, it's my birthday on Saturday, so I won't be able to make the stream. So can you please wish me a happy birthday? Absolutely, bro. Happy birthday. I hope you have a great one. Saturday as well. Nice day for your birthday to fall on. So yeah, well in. Enjoy it. Oh, I'm actually a really happy camper as well. Got tickets to see Shane Gillis. He's coming to Dublin in March. And myself and my wife, big fans. So managed to get a couple of tickets to go and see him. And the pre-sale, already booked the hotel and all for the night as well. Cannot wait. As you know, I'm a huge fan of stand-up comedy, so, you know, we've got to see a load of great comedians over the last 10, 15 years, and Shane Gillis is somebody my wife and I think is really, really funny as well, so can't wait. No, I haven't got the Oasis tickets yet, David. No, still no joy on that front. And look, I get it. You know, the tickets are like gold dust. You know, I wasn't expecting to get one in all honesty, but you don't ask, you don't get, so, you know, I'll always put that appeal out there if anybody has a spare Oasis ticket. Zach said, I met Shane one time, nice guy. He's so funny. And do you know what? My wife discovered Shane Gillis comedy before I did, and she said to me, I think you really like this guy, Craig. And then we watched Tires, that show. I'm sure you've seen it on Netflix, which is brilliant as well. And there's going to be a second season of that. So, yeah, look, I'm a stand-up comedy fan, and I can't wait to go and see him. Craig, would you consider using Now TV with Sports Extra? You get Premier League, Champions League, TNT for €20 a month. No, I wouldn't, because I need to have lots of other bits and pieces as well. And I mean, it sounds too cheap, that, in all honesty, to get all of those things you said for £20 a month. I can't even get Sky Sports on the Sky platform for £20 a month, just the Sky part. But either way, if you're getting that price, fair play, enjoy, and not too shabby. You seen any North of Ireland comedians? Do you know what? I don't know if I have. In all honesty. I can't remember. I'm sure maybe somebody from the North is supported on some of the shows I've gone to or something, but no, I can't say I have. My missus got me 2 Coldplay tickets for Wembley next year. Can't wait. Yeah, they all look. I wouldn't be Coldplay's biggest fan, but I will say they put on one hell of a show. You know, I have watched some of their concerts, and yeah, the visual effects and stuff are absolutely phenomenal. Lorcan said, is it weird that I don't want the signing, I just want the 3 contracts renewed? Mate, look, that would be my first preference here as well, to make sure the contracts are renewed. So on this VAR thing, so I asked you guys actually on this, do you believe that Liverpool are negotiating for Omar Marmoush And so far, and I'm going to leave it up till we get to 1,000 votes, 61% do believe that we're negotiating for Marmoush. Adam, how are you, bro? Said, hi, Craig. Wish you all the best for your show. Safe travel and have a cracker of a time. Do what you do best and put on a great show. Do you know what? It's going to be just me bragging about how great Liverpool are, Arne Slot are, and life is as a Liverpool fan right now for an hour or so before we do the Q&A part, because what a time to go over. You know, in the summer when we did the show in August, it was amazing. The people in Liverpool came out and we had a great night, and they were all so lovely and welcoming. But we didn't know what the future had in store. This time, we know. We know where the season's headed, and we know what's possible, and we're bringing over a musical act with us as well to get everybody hyped up, and then Carl's doing the comedy set, and then obviously we're coming on. I can't wait. Honestly, I can't wait. The only problem I have with this trip is the plane that I'm going over on. We're going with Aer Lingus into Liverpool, and I think it's one of those propeller planes, you know, not like an Airbus or anything, just a windy uppy one, and they frighten the shit out of me. But I'll do it because I get to go to Liverpool. Great video you had with All Red. Thank you, Troy. Appreciate you. Recorded that, 2 of them last night. I think there's a second one coming out on... I'm actually not sure when the second one's coming out. But yeah, it was lovely. Sam was very very welcoming. And we're going to bring Sam on. And I actually said to Sam, if anybody else from the All Red team would like to come on as well, we'll return that favour after the international break and bring the guys on here for a video as well, which... yeah, look, I love it. I love reaching out and speaking with my fellow fans from other parts of the world. So, yeah, thank you for the invite again. Big Man said, not having a great day today, Craig. I had a skills test in college and I passed, but it didn't go as well as I wanted. These streams always cheer me up. You passed, though. So, you know, keep going. And I'm sure, like everything else, repetition, the more you practice, the more you do it, the more you'll improve. And, again... proud of you, mate. Keep going, finish college, get your qualification, and show the world what you're about. And we're here to support you on that journey, mate. Do I like cheese? Not really. No, I'm not a big cheese person. Yeah, I'm more of an easy singles man, really, to be honest with you. My wife will be a huge cheese person. She always orders a cheese plate for dessert if we go out rather than cake, which still disgusts me, to be honest with you. Emerald Airline, made to turn grown arse men into babies. That's exactly who we're flying with, yeah, Emerald. And look, I'm sure it'll be lovely, and the service is always very good with Aer Lingus and all. But yeah, first, I've only ever been on one of those planes once, and it was in Athens, oh God, a long time ago. And as I was getting onto the plane, the fella was working on the engine, the propeller, and I was a bucket of sweat. I was on my own travelling as well. Oh... Like, I've no problem flying, by the way. Any airplane, no problem. Except for the... because I'm fully certain when I look at that window, that's going to stop spinning. And yeah, it does frighten me a little bit. Will the show be live streamed? No, it won't, mate. For a very good reason as well. Because, you know, what's said in the show stays in the show. And... some stuff will get a bit close to the bone, but I can't wait. So if you haven't been to the show and you're wondering what time, we're probably going to get onto the stage at about 7, and then we'll finish up at about 9:30, 9:45, because all the younger people have to be out of the venue by 10. So I would say doors open at 5:30 for the venue, where you can go and have a couple of drinks, a bite to eat or anything. There's loads of places in there beforehand. And then we should be, I think they're going to see people in the theatre at about 6:30, and then the show will kick off at 7. First one up will be our musical act, Mr. Paddy Doyle. He'll be doing about 45 minutes. Then Carl will come on, do a stand-up comedy set, and then me and Connor will take it home for the last hour 45 or so. Thank you, Danny. Appreciate you, bro. Really do. Look, folks, we only need 4 more subscribers to get another 100 up. So if you haven't subscribed, please do. And also, remember, this is the last live stream I'm doing till Saturday. Because tomorrow I'm taking a day off. And putting together some notes for the show and that, and then on Friday we're in Liverpool, so it'll be Saturday before we're back live. And thank you, Danny. Stevie boy, how are you, sir?
Take the day off for your very important hair appointment, don't you?
I'm still recovering from your hair appointment, love. Stevie boy said, Craig, keep or sell these players. Jota, Nunes, Costas. Sell, keep, sell. Sell, number one, Jota, because I would use that money for Marmoush, and I would use the squad plays for Marmoush, because as much as I do like Diogo, and I do, and as much as I rate Diogo, and I do, we can't rely on him, because he always has, unfortunately, a knock or a niggle or a strain that rules him out for chunks of the season. So I would sell Jota to get Marmoush. Darwin I would keep around because I think he gives us something different, and I like where he's going, and I like what I'm seeing so far now this season. And Costas, again, it's only if we're going to bring in another left back for the future. But Costas, to give him his absolute credit, has stepped up this season and done well when called upon by the manager. Jack Nichols said, can't wait to see you Friday. Every stream has food. Yep. And do you know what? I need to get my pizza slice this time, because when I was over at the venue the last time, I was all hyped because there's like I think there's 6 to 8 different eateries in and around the Hot Water in Blackstock Market, and I wanted to get a pizza slice, and I was all buzzing after it. And then I would finish my set and said hello to everybody, took photos and all, and then realised the pizza place was closed, so I never even got my slice of pizza, which I was weirdly excited about because, you know, I'm a pizza fiend. To be fair, this time it wasn't his fault to be injured. Look, it's never a player's fault to be injured. You know, I would never go down that route either. You know, he's been really unfortunate. No player ever wants to be injured, so I certainly never go in on a player for it. But availability is going to be important when you're challenging for titles, and robustness, again, in the Premier League is important. Antoango said Costas has been more potent than Robbo. Yeah, I think I just have I'm just an Andy Robertson fan though, and you know what? Honestly, about Robbo, I hope what Arne Slot said is true, and that we're not seeing the best of him because he hasn't gotten to peak fitness yet. Coming in off back of a broken up summer where he didn't really have a pre-season. So if Arne is spot on about that and Robbo does get back to the levels we know he's capable of, then, you know, that's why I would look towards the Costas thing. But in saying that, the whole left back position, I don't really think needs to be addressed till next summer anyway. So I guess we'll get a bigger sample size over the course of the season. What's my favourite moment of all time? Like, ever? I can't answer that question because I'll get in trouble. Honestly, I can't answer the question. If you're talking about life moments, I can't answer the question because I'll get in trouble. But yeah, sorry. Ian said, I was with my parents and grandparents' dad to Jersey on a prop plane, and the pilot came out and started to hit the propeller before we took off. Oh. Yeah, that's palpitations immediately, if that was the case. Lorcan said, Craig, I have brilliant news. I qualified for the Irish para team for badminton, and you're travelling to Sheffield to play the English para team. That's awesome. Well in, Lorcan. Proud of you, and I'm sure you'll represent us well, sir. So, again, well done. Fair play, mate, and wish you all the best when you go over and take on the... You said it was the English or the British? The English guys over in Sheffield. Yeah, well done. Should be proud of yourself, mate. We're certainly proud of you. Do I go to many GAA games? Genuinely, mate, I'm not going to lie, I've never been to a GAA game. I've been to a club game, but I've never been to a county game. The only time I was ever in Croke Park I've been there twice. Once for Garth Brooks, and the second time was to play with my primary school. So yeah, I've never been to a GAA game of county standard. Messi is overrated? Would you stop? Stop now. Don't be silly. Messi's not overrated. Come on. Is there a dress code for the show? Well, I'm going to be wearing shorts, most likely. So, I don't know. I don't believe there is. You'll have to get onto the venue about that, but I feel most comfortable when I'm on the stage in a pair of shorts, so I'm probably going to be wearing shorts, even though it's the middle of November. Why do you think Szoboszlai doesn't shoot anymore? He takes the ball and then passes it back. Don't know if I would say he doesn't shoot. Certainly, maybe Arne's just trying to make sure that these decisions made in the final third are the right decisions. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe Szoboszlai second guessed himself a little bit. I really don't know, mate, in all honesty. I haven't thought much about it. Imagine Marmoush next to Salah. Oh, I have, Harrison, and I'm very excited about the possibility of it. What's this? Again, confirmation that UEFA have suspended David Coote as well, whilst the investigation's underway. Stargirl, let me get your comment up. Stargirl said, I read what Neville said. Again, nobody is mentioning Coote being xenophobic except us. Imagine replacing German with India or another country. I know, mate. It's I agree. Sorry, I was just making sure I didn't say anything I was going to regret there. You know what else though, Stargirl, annoyed me? Is that Neville tripped himself up massively. Because he said that it was his mate who said, I hate Scousers. And then he went on to say, I hate Scousers. That demonstrates a hatred to a group of people, which includes Liverpool and Everton. Only for, again, Gary Neville was lying, because what was actually said in the video was, after he summarises the video, he said, we hate Scousers. And wasn't corrected by David Coote, who was sitting beside him. So if Neville is using his own logic to say that speaking about hating Scousers is wrong because it speaks to hating the entire city of Liverpool, Everton and Liverpool fans, then I think Neville needs to backtrack, because it very much was a case of we, Gary, and not I. So if you're going to try to steer the narrative to cover up or apologise for people, at least be right about it, because it's disgusting. And again, it just makes me feel like I'm angry, because deep down I know that a lot of the people who are defending this crap, and I'm not saying this about Neville, by the way, are defending it because of their dislike of Scousers. And that is wrong on many, many levels. And I don't, of course, get this divide in the UK, because I'm not from the UK. I don't look at anybody with eyes and think I hate you, I like you, or whatever. I wouldn't categorise an entire group of anybody in that way. But I feel for Scousers, because no matter how many times they're belittled or they're lazy tropes said about them, or their city is insulted, or their economic circumstances are insulted, they hold their heads up high, they carry on about their business, they defend their position when they need to, and I'm always going to do that for them as well, for what it's worth, because I understand it. I understand what it's like to be vilified, spoken down to, and belittled. And you deserve better. The people of Liverpool are better than the shit that they get at times from others. And this situation should be roundly discussed from a perspective of, once again, Liverpool, its manager, the city are being belittled, and apparently that's okay. Fuck you. It is not okay. Nor would it be okay if it was any other part of the UK being vilified. It just feels like sometimes there's different tiers. There's different levels. And it's okay to go in on certain people or certain areas or certain types. And that gets swept under the carpet. And when I spoke about this yesterday, and when I've spoken about the referee situation many times, I go out of my way to say that we need to drop the tribalism. Because what impacts us this week will impact somebody else next week. And for the greater good of the game, this crap needs to be sorted out. And if the reaction from Gary Neville or anybody else within the footballing world isn't disgust at this video, disgust at the naivety of Coote and what was said about Klopp and Liverpool, and goes to trying to make excuses for it, hang your head in shame. Nobody has a witch hunt here. Nobody's calling for the man to be never employable again and ran out of the country. But we are calling for a grown-up, serious conversation. Because I also remember Gary Neville going in on Arsenal and Liverpool when we were shafted at Spurs and Liverpool spoke about the fact that they're going to pursue all avenues. And Neville chimed in on that as well, speaking about it being too far and that referees need to be respected, blah, blah, blah. Keeps making excuses, keeps defending the indefensible, rather than actually addressing it and going, you know what? Maybe there is an issue here we need to look at. And his solution of just banning Coote from refereeing Liverpool games is just stupidity of the highest order. Because he and I both know that you can impact the league, a title race, a game, elsewhere by being involved in the league, by refereeing another game, by making a contentious decision. So Gary Neville is speaking out of both sides of his mouth once again. And somebody has to call him out, because the brown-nosers who want their place on Sky, or who want to be on the overlap, or who profess to be proud of the city they're from, grow a backbone. Grow a backbone and call this man out that is once again making a mockery of your city, of its people, by putting out mistruths and falsehoods. Grow a backbone. Because I promise you, if I was sitting on that stage on the overlap or beside Neville and he started this shit, it wouldn't end well. I wouldn't be welcomed back. But again, some people are all about an opportunity and bettering themselves and pretending to be this or that. I'm going to end this poll, by the way, because I think we've covered enough of it, and 62% of you guys do believe that Liverpool are in for Marmoush. What are your opinions on Curly Whirlies? I don't recognise them anymore. To quote Malcolm Tucker from The Thick of It, a Curly Whirly should be the size of a small ladder. And these days they're not. Did you see the short where the Irish guy kissed the photo of you? I've seen it, yeah, it's very funny. I like Michael. He's a good guy, he's a good content creator. And Michael can feel free to use me in any of his stuff that he wants, because he's a good guy. They used to be at least double the size. Yes, they did. Actually, did you see a quote from Mohamed Salah? And he was speaking about life, basically, and moving on and how things change. He said, when Bobby left, I realised everybody will leave one day, so I don't take it for granted. When I go to training, I always try to have a laugh and have a good time together. My heart's honestly breaking at this stuff. Give the man his contract, will you? Because he's basically telling the world again that he doesn't want to go anywhere. And, he's trying to enjoy every moment of his time at Liverpool and being around the club and his teammates. And, I mean, please get it done this international break, because it just feels wrong that we're still here. So Martin Ziegler, another very good journalist of the Times, has said Liverpool, Arsenal, Manchester United and Spurs have all lodged legal notices reserving the right to seek compensation if Manchester City are found guilty of serious charges among the 115 alleged breaches of Premier League financial rules. We spoke about this a while back, where the 6-year statute of limitations was coming up, so clubs had to register the interest in potentially going after Manchester City for losses sustained. So Martin Ziegler saying there, Liverpool, Arsenal, Manchester United and Spurs have lodged legal notices reserving the right to seek compensation if Manchester City are found guilty of serious charges. My dog's very upset in there. He doesn't like the sound of this one bit. Craig, please do the next show on a Saturday. You know how hard it is, Deirdre, to get venues on a Saturday night? I was actually astonished we could even get to Friday night, in all honesty. It's difficult to get a venue on a Saturday night. Do you think Slot will start to give Marmoush the free kicks instead of Trent? I mean, we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves here. I do like in your scenario, though, we've signed Marmoush and kept Trent. So, I do like where you're going with it. But honestly, I don't know. I have no idea, mate. Stargirl said, Craig, my family from Ireland, the reason Liverpool gets a lot of negativity is because it's a city made up from immigrants, especially the Irish, who were not always welcome in the UK. Oh, I know. I'm around long enough to remember being shown the posters of no blacks, no dogs, no Irish welcome. And look, there's a reason I feel an affinity with the city of Liverpool and Scousers as well, of course, is because of that Irish connection. I've said this many times. That boat left Dublin, landed in Liverpool, and it was the first port of call for some people in search of a better life from Ireland. And of course, they made their roots and started working in Liverpool, and that's where you get the Carragers, the Rooneys, and all these names from. Raven said, if Salah keeps up his numbers and we win the Premier League, maybe the Champions League, then he could win the Ballon d'Or. Oh, it would be great, wouldn't it? The fact that the man wasn't even in the top 30 is just nonsensical. So I want to come back to the new VAR stuff, because I want to ask your opinion on this. So Mundo Deportivo and I think others have run with the stories. I think L'Equipe ran with a similar type of story as well. And they've said FIFA are considering replacing VAR with football video support. Only 4 or 5 cameras are needed and there is no referee video. Managers can request the referee to review his decision twice per game. If they lose the first review, they don't get the second review. The referee will go to the football video support only when requested by managers, and he cannot review a decision himself. So, in theory, I can understand the idea. So rather than us waiting for VAR to do their job and maybe feel that the threshold has been met for a review, it's put in the hands of a manager who feels like, okay, I think this needs to be reviewed, so they make the challenge. But I don't like the idea of the second part, that if the referee doesn't agree, you lose the other challenge, because again, we're talking about subjectivity here. I know in a lot of NFL and other stuff, there are, it's put to New York where there's a group of referees that often say what needs to be done, or the ref goes to the monitor himself in the NFL and has a look. I don't know how I feel about the second part of that, but in theory, at least it puts power in the hands of a manager to challenge a decision and not have to hope that VAR can do it. So we still need more information on this, of course, but if any of you guys have looked into this at all, really interested to know your thoughts on it. we should talk about ZUBIMENDI. I did a whole segment on him in the stream already, mate. So, I know you might be in late or haven't seen it, but I promise you, mate, I have gone over it. And I will happily do it again for you in a moment, but we did. I didn't just ignore that news today. Trust me, it was something that definitely did catch my eye, and I'll go back over for you in a moment. I wish we got to see Thiago in a slot system, said Harry. Look, I just wish we got to see Thiago play more football in a Liverpool shirt, full stop, mate, because what a player. Jordan said, the VAR review stuff, never going to work. Refs don't admit they're wrong, and certainly won't when they think a team manager is a C. That is another aspect of this that certainly will come into consideration. Do you know what's really boiled my blood, Jordan, about the whole stuff in the last 48 hours? Is that straight away, rather than admit that there is potentially a chance that some referees may have a bias against other teams, rather than admit that that's even possible, we're once again met with anybody who dare say anything like that is a conspiracy theorist, and it will only add fuel to the fire to us lunatics that dare believe that some of the really blatant stuff that's gone against us has anything to do with anything other than an opinion. And if they won't get to that point where they will even have the debate about whether it's possible, I think that tells us football fans everything we need to know. Because I don't know one single football fan that thinks every referee is bent and every referee is taking backhanders. Nobody I know suggesting any of that. What we are saying is there is a body of evidence, and I can only speak from a Liverpool perspective because I don't watch enough of other teams' games to know every refereeing decision. But if we look back over some major incidents that have impacted us negatively in big games, and you see a certain somebody at the scene of the crime over and over again, and that when this person is involved in officiating our games, our win rate drops compared to other teams performing worse than us who've been refereed or officiated by the same person, I don't think it's beyond the realms of possibility that it might be a little deeper and there might be something to it. And what has really annoyed me over the last 48 hours is straight away everybody coming together to change this narrative and to almost once again make people feel wrong for reporting anything. Like, we talk about people who in life have spoken up and done the right thing, and more often than not those people get punished or those people's careers are ended for speaking up, for doing the right thing. And once again here, it feels like we're getting very close to the territory of victim blaming because they don't want to admit that there may be an issue here, that there may be a problem that needs to be looked into. We all know it. Paul Tompkins has wrote great pieces on the statistical and numerical analysis around Tierney refereeing Liverpool games. Now we've got Coote, who didn't send Oliver to the monitor when we played Arsenal in a top of the table clash at Anfield when Odegaard blatantly handled the ball, who didn't intervene when most of us feel Origi was fouled against United, and who didn't intervene when Jordan Pickford did Virgil van Dijk's ACL and didn't recommend anything there. And we know, as people who watch football, that every single one of those are not subjective and they were black and white issues. But once again, we're being told that what we're seeing with our own eyes isn't what's happening. And that, as a football fan, drives me around the twist. Because it's again a case of, we know best, you little folk, off you pop, we'll tell you how to feel. No, you won't. People need reminding that football belongs to the fucking fans. End of. If they didn't get reminded of that with the Super League, I think they're going to again come in for a shock. Because there is going to be a reckoning. Because football fans are fed up. Football fans are fed up of being policed differently, of being spoken down to, of being treated like they're subhuman at times. It deserves better. We deserve better. We deserve pundits that are there to represent the footballing public. Not there to be a company yes man or toe the line, because nobody wants that. And as I said yesterday, Sky have the fucking cheek to speak about the intense scrutiny that referees are under when they're the ones adding to it more than anybody else, with their ref watch, with bringing Mike Dean on, with inventing an extra piece of content that nobody asked for, that nobody wants, just to make more money. And they have the cheek to tell the rest of us about the pressure that these poor referees are under, as if we don't know. So here's an idea: cancel Ref Watch, cancel Mic'd Up, get rid of Mike Dean and Dermot Gallagher, because nobody gives a fuck what they have to say, because all they ever do is back up their former colleagues. All they ever do is tell us that we don't understand the laws of the game, that we couldn't possibly fathom these decision makings and the pressure that is there when they make them, even though it's fairly straightforward to us looking at it. It's shocking. It's fucking shocking. I've lost so much respect for Sky over the past year, between ramming woke bullshit down my throat. And I am a fairly liberal person, by the way. I'm a live and let live kind of guy. I want everyone to be happy. But I don't like being told how to feel. And I don't like being told about my morality or other people's when the people who are preaching it to me aren't fit to wipe the shit off our shoes. What do you think about people calling Omar Marmoush a bench warmer at Liverpool? No idea. Look, if Omar Marmoush was signing for Manchester United tomorrow, you would see him being spoken about as the greatest footballer to ever lace up a pair of football boots. But as soon as we come into a conversation, you know, everything has to be undermined, belittled and laughed at. You know, how many messiahs have United had since Sir Alex Ferguson left? That were coming in, that were going to put us all in our place. You know, Ten Hag was going to come in and be the greatest thing since sliced bread. And then when we got a Dutch manager who's clearly inferior to their sacked manager, who was come in and had 15 wins from 17 games and actually shown that, well, there are Dutch managers who can make it in the Premier League. Anybody who doesn't come to a conversation open-minded, in my view, you've lost. When you start trying to vilify everybody else, you've lost. When you don't admit that maybe there is a big problem with refereeing in England, you've lost. So, Dave wants a poll on should Coote be sacked. Honestly, Dave, I want to wait for the investigation to finish, because I believe in procedure. I believe that he has a chance to give his side of what happened. He has a chance to maybe mitigate the situation. I believe that, as the PGMOL have said, he needs to be supported, because we don't know what's going on in Mr. Coote's life. We don't know if he has any issue with drugs. We don't know. There's a lot we don't know here. And we can only react off what we do know. So I'm absolutely fine with this procedure going through the proper channels, taking as long as it takes, because we want things done the right way. You know, and I know as football fans we can be reactionary, but there's a human touch to this as well, and procedures that have to be followed. And, you know, I'm very much of the mindset that let these things play out, and we'll see at the end of it what comes out, and then we can have our opinions. John, thank you so much, mate. I really appreciate that. Very kind of you indeed, sir. Said, hi Craig, love your videos. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Right. I have a little request, if I may, ladies and gentlemen. As this is the last stream before the show and whatnot, I want to ask you to do me a favour, and if you can, go over and subscribe to our brand new show. Myself and Lee Gunner are going to be doing twice a week, called the Red Mist Podcast. Myself and Lee are going to be doing 2-hour-long shows a week. One of them is going to be just me and Lee, speaking about football, life in general, and anything else that comes into our mind. And the other one is going to be us with a guest. And again, doing similar things, talking about latest things in football, talking about life, what anything else that's on our mind. And we'd love you to come across and give it a try. So if you can, search and subscribe to the Red Mist podcast. You'll see the logo that looks exactly like that image on the screen there. And we're going to be kicking it off from Monday at 6 p.m. I think it's Monday. It might be Tuesday. I think it's... Let me just check the messages with Lee and I'll tell you. 1 second. Where was it? Sorry, folks. I'm just double checking. Monday. It's Monday. Monday at 6 o'clock. We're going to be on the first show. Is it live? Yeah. They're all going to be live. That's one thing we spoke about, me and Lee. We decided that all the shows should be live because we want you guys involved. We want you guys setting the agendas. We want you guys giving us your take on what you'd like us to discuss. And as always with me and Lee, nothing will be off bounds or nothing will be out of bounds. And we will give our honest, unfiltered opinions. Expect a lot of disagreements because me and Lee do see the world in very different ways at times, particularly around football and Manchester City. But that's okay. The point of this show for me is to show that you don't have to agree with everything your mate says or everything somebody else says. And if you do disagree with them on something, it doesn't have to be an end of a friendship or an end of talking to that person. We want to show you that you can disagree respectfully, you can debate it out, you can have a laugh along the way, you can shake hands, and you can still go about your day. So yeah, again, if you do get a chance, you can just search on YouTube the Red Mist podcast, give it a sub, and we'd appreciate your support. It is a repurposed older channel I had, so it's already got like 24k subs, something like that on it. So if you could, that'd be great. And of course, we're going to launch that next week. Sure hope Red Mist isn't copyrighted. How could a phrase be copyrighted? I don't understand how a phrase can be... A phrase can't. And by the way, it's not called Red Mist. It's called The Red Mist Podcast. And if that's copyrighted, it'll be called The Red Mist Podcast Bleu. Or The Red Mist Schmodcast. Or The Red Mist with 2 T's. Or, you know, I can be creative. Oh, Rachel, in holidays on Monday in Spain, relaxing. Do you want me to mind the pool, Rachel, while you're gone? You and James need anybody to, you know, mind that indoor pool for you. Lee saying on his channel he's looking forward to it, can't wait. Oh, look, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun, and we're both looking forward to it. And we've been, you know, excited about this one for a few weeks now, so appreciate your support. There's the link Mark's put in as well. So I'm going to pin that one actually, Mark. 1 second. How do I pin it? I need to unpin the other one first, don't I? 1 second. Now maybe I can pin this one. 1 sec. Yeah. So I pinned the link to the Red Mist channel at the top of the chat from Mark there. So if you can, please do hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to check out the Anfield Agenda Clips channel as well, by the way, which is doing really good lately. So if you haven't, search Anfield Agenda Clips as well. Right, I'm going to stay on. We've got 20-25 minutes more to go tonight, so let's finish with a Q&A on whatever you guys want to talk about or want to ask. Lash it into the chat and we'll finish up. A reminder, this is the last live stream till Saturday night, so get cracking with the questions. What's this that Mark sent me? Yep, we already covered that one, Mark, around Liverpool's interest in him. We've already gone over that one. What pizza on Friday? Oh, I'm boring, mate. Margarita for me. I'm so boring with pizza. I love it, but I'm a plain pizza eater. So margarita all the way. But you know what I hate? When you get a margarita pizza and there's herbs on it. Because I hate herbs. Unless they're being smoked. But yeah, so margarita. If anyone's offering to buy me a slice, by the way, margarita, please. Thoughts on the David Coote white powder video, said Lewis, and I had to change the wording there, mate. Look, my thoughts are quite mixed. Firstly, my first thought was, I hope he's not suffering with addiction or anything like that, because, you know, addiction has played a big part in my life with my parents and stuff around alcohol, and I would never wish an addiction to a Class A substance or anything on anybody. So my first thought was, if he has a genuine addiction or problem with any drugs, I hope he gets the help he needs, the support he needs, because it's not easy. Secondly, my mind also went a different place. Apart from obviously having the human side to this and not wishing ill on anybody, I did wonder, has he been compromised? And if he's in this situation of using these substances, and we don't know what the substance is in the video, we've got to be very clear about that, we just see a white powder, I wonder, does this speak to maybe a bigger problem? Are referees in debt to people? Are they open to being lent on to get a decision to go one way or another? And the answer could very well be no, and I'm of course more than open to the answer being no. But it is what went through my mind, like you've said. If he owed money to some unscrupulous people, you know, who's to say that hasn't been part of this situation? And I don't know. But again, I think we need to speak about it honestly and wait for all the facts to come out. And he deserves everything to be done properly and procedures put in place. So, yeah. Wasn't surprised, because I don't know many people who've known anybody who's been done a few lines of coke and been out drinking and not looked at that video of David Coote, the first one, and thought, because I can't lie, I looked at it and I thought, I don't think he's just had a few drinks there. But I don't know, because I don't know what he has or hasn't done. But I know that when I looked at him, I didn't think he just had a few drinks. But that's just my opinion. Craig, should the Premier League refs be randomly drug tested? I guess yes. I mean, obviously, whatever Premier League referees do from that regard can impact a performance on a pitch. So it's not like they're an athlete. But again, it could lead to other issues in their life or other problems or, you know, debts that could be worked off in other ways. So I would say yes, but because of a more holistic, well-rounded approach to football than, obviously, you know, a ref doing steroids, not going to do anything really other than, I don't know, make them fitter or whatever. But yeah, I think that's up to the PGMOL to decide what their policies are, to be honest about it. No matter what the excuse is, what he did is all wrong. 100%. Look, I want him to be held to account for his words and actions as much as anybody. But I also want to remind people that as much as we do want justice to be played out, there is always a human side to these things. And I don't know David Coote as a man. I don't know David Coote in any other regard other than what I see of him refereeing games of football. But as I said, I've been around people who've had issues with abuse of substances, and I know what toll it takes on people as well and family. So I always look at it from the human perspective as well. And you know, that would be my first concern here. And to be fair to the PGMOL, they have said that they're making sure that he's receiving support in that, and that's fine. But yeah, you can't ignore everything else. You know, it can't just be an excuse for behaviour. Any more shows in Ireland? Nothing in the books, but maybe another. I think there's definitely a possibility of a Cork, a Galway, or a Belfast show. Dublin, I think not, because it's just too expensive to put on shows in Dublin. But yeah, certainly wouldn't rule that out. Have I missed something? Sorry, I did miss your super chat. 1 second, my friend. Let me bring it up on screen here for you. Yonapa, I hope I've pronounced that correctly. I apologise if I haven't. He said, did Neville discuss/ignore Coote's xenophobia? No, he lied. And let me explain. So, what Neville said, I'll read out to you. 1 second. This is the second part of what Gary Neville's monologue was. He said, I actually think the worst words in the video were said by the guy sat next to him. I hate Scousers, because that demonstrates a hatred to a group of people, which includes Liverpool and Everton. David Coote never said those words himself. He's been stitched up and it's a mess. It looks like he got drunk and let his mate film him, which is stupid. We've all done silly things when we've had too many drinks. So, of course we have. We've all done silly things we've had too many drinks. I'm not going to argue with Gary Neville on that one, but I will pull him up on his lies, because to say I hate Scousers is what his mate said isn't right. What was said was, we hate Scousers. And while Gary's quick to point out that David Coote didn't say that, when you change the context from I hate Scousers being just his mate saying it to we hate Scousers, and David Coote didn't correct him or didn't say no I didn't, I think that we can comfortably say that he felt at ease with the guy beside him saying that, because he didn't correct him. So if Neville wants to try and change a narrative to suit his agenda, I'm going to call him out for it, because that wasn't what was said in the video. He clearly said, we hate Scousers. Neville knows that though. So we did discuss it, but more from the point of view of, I'm just getting fed up of Neville, because I'm having his opinions constantly rammed down my throat and yours as well, and he's not being sincere in his actions, you know. And that one word change, I to we, is a big difference to how that whole narrative works out. My nephew is drugs tested and he's in IT. Look, any employer can certainly, and I don't know the laws in the UK, but I'm sure random drug testing could be enforced in a contract. I don't know. And I'm not saying that the referee shouldn't be tested. I'm saying it's up to the PGMOL, the FA, or anybody that employs them to set the parameters of their contracts. Neville is a clown. Nobody cares about him. What gets me though, Derek, is he's everywhere. Everywhere I turn around, Neville's there. Turn on Sky, he's there. Open a podcast app, he's there. Content rammed down our throats over and over again, and his words carry weight because he's got a platform, and he's trying to shape a narrative that is just wrong. Who's your favourite Brazilian CDM? I don't know if I have favourite Brazilian CDM. Fabinho. Let's go with that, the one that played for us. Can you put up a poll to see if we all agree that Ten Hag should get the City job? That's an interesting situation, but I'm intrigued to see what happens there at City with Guardiola's contract. Does he renew? Does he go at the end of the season? Jeff, always lovely to see you, my friend. Jeff said, did Mr. Coote dislike Klopp because Klopp got too close to one of those white lines? Love you, Craig. Look, I, as a human being, of course can understand how Klopp maybe rubbed the ref up the wrong way. Of course I can. Same way I could understand Arteta or Mourinho or Ferguson or any other referee or coaching staff or whatever annoying a ref. Of course we can. Things get heated. Things get, you know, tasty at times. So I get it. I totally understand that. But these guys get held to account. Klopp or managers or players have to take what they say and explain it to the Premier League or explain it to the authorities and get fined or touchline bans. And you know, we can't just always say that referees are beyond reproach, are all superstar perfect, and that absolutely just say that any talk of maybe one of them having a dislike towards a club or anything is conspiracy theorist stuff. If they're not willing to open their mind to that possibility, I think they're just arrogant, quite frankly. how about Javier Mascherano's a CDM? He's Argentinian though. He asked me about my favourite Brazilian as a CDM. Mascherano was class. I loved Javier Mascherano, mate. Didn't like the way he left, to be honest, but as a player, brilliant. Michael said, what a statement we would make to the world when we sign ZUBIMENDI and Omar Marmoush. Oh, mate, honestly, it would be a statement, you're right. It would be a real underlining of our credentials as well as serious contenders for the top prizes. With the Marmoush thing, I think that's probably a summer thing maybe, but certainly with January, there seems to be a lot of chatter now around ZUBIMENDI again, between Fabrizio Romano saying, you know, Liverpool are certainly still keeping an eye in the situation. I mean, what he actually said was Liverpool, on a constant basis, are still monitoring Martin ZUBIMENDI. And then you had Mr. Ornstein saying, where's David Ornstein's comments? 1 second. ZUBIMENDI has been targeted by the likes of Arsenal and Liverpool, and so far he's resisted the chance to depart the Basque side. However, the admiration continues. So, yeah, his name's certainly coming in conversation more and more. I don't know if ZUBIMENDI has shown any desire to leave Sociedad. I haven't got a clue. But I would certainly hope that if he has, we'd be his first choice. Still no word of contracts, Craig. Don't like how long it's taken. Think it's not looking good the longer it goes. I don't know what to expect, Keith, mate, to be honest with you. I'm hoping that Van Dijk gets done. I think we'd be so foolish not to give Salah a deal because he's clearly wanting to stay. The Trent one is the one, in all honesty, Keith, I just don't know what way to think on it, because I don't know how Trent's looking at this situation. You know, I don't think it's going to come down to money with Trent. I think it's just going to come down to whether he wants another challenge in his career, or whether he wants to sign and stay at Liverpool for the peak years of his career, which he's now coming into those prime years. So, yeah, the other two I think are sort of on the club and sort of on Virgin Mo, but with Trent, I think it's just going to come down to him. What will happen to Anfield Agenda if you're no longer presenting? Oh, you probably missed the part, mate. And look, I get it. I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm staying. Sorry. Not sorry again. That's a bit weird of me. Sorry, mate. Yeah, I said it the other day. I had a conversation with my wife. We sat down. We thought about it. We weighed everything up. We looked at all the lovely messages of support and all that we got, and decided we can't stop. We can't let them win. So I'm not going to go anywhere. I hope that's good news to you, but and again, I apologise for letting it get in my head like that, and I shouldn't. You know, they shouldn't be even registering, these assholes. So again, I do apologise for putting you guys through that as well. But yeah, we've unfinished business. We've got. I think our community's still growing. Isa said, "Hi Craig, hope all is well. Same with you, my friend. I'd love ZUBIMENDI in January, but in my opinion, I don't think it would make sense for him to leave when he said he was staying in the summer, which has only been a few months. Thoughts?" I guess, yeah, look, it's fair, but I guess my thoughts would be, I don't know what the objectives for Sociedad were this season. At the start of the season, it looked as if they could be battling relegation. Now they're safely tucked away, I think, in the middle of La Liga. If it looks as if they're not going to challenge for the European places, and they're not going to be down near the relegation places, maybe he feels that if the opportunity's still there for Liverpool, that it wouldn't change the trajectory of Sociedad's season. Personally, I would love him to come in January for a few reasons. One, it gives us longer for him to get ready for next season as well. You know, you use him sparingly this season and ease his way in. Obviously, it could help us challenge as well. So yeah, it's it's hard to talk about it when I don't know the objectives at Sociedad. I also don't know, by the way, if he was led to believe he was going to get a new contract offer with a pay rise or an extension, because that doesn't seem to be forthcoming either there from the Sociedad side. So, yeah, it's a difficult one. Let's get to 1,000 likes tonight. Please do. Yeah, we've only got 120 to go. So if you haven't hit the like button, yeah, I would love you to do so. Ewan said, "Hi Craig, I hope that you're well. Do you think that the result between us and Madrid will affect Trent's decision to leave or not?" I hope no. I mean, because it doesn't really impact either club's season, does it? It's not like it's a knockout game or anything. So I think what I'm hoping for, Ewan, in all honesty, was that... Do you remember the game against Leverkusen when Alonso came and he got the big welcome, and Anfield showed what it's like on a special night? So we got that win. Trent will have seen again the power of Anfield and how respectfully they look at former greats and stuff, coupled with Saturday and that result, and again the crowd and the atmosphere inside Anfield. I'm hoping that that's reminding Trent what a special place he gets to play football in, which I'm sure he knows. You know, he's a Liverpool boy through and through. And I can understand the lure of Real Madrid, of course. But I just... Obviously, we as Liverpool fans want him to stay. So no, I don't think that game will have any impact on it. Craig for Sports Minister. I could be the minister for getting shit done. There you go. I read this out earlier, but I'm going to read it out again just in case some people missed it. Martin Ziegler, who's a journalist with The Times, has said that Liverpool, Arsenal, Manchester United and Spurs have lodged legal notices reserving the right to seek compensation if Manchester City are found guilty of serious charges among the 115 alleged breaches of the Premier League's financial rules. I spoke about this excuse me, a few weeks ago on a stream as well, where I said there's a 6-month statute of limitations on the ability to register that interest in seeking compensation, and it's really unusual that these clubs will have to register that intent or the ability to seek compensation before the trial is over, because it's unusual these things drag on for 6 years. But as we mentioned, this has been going on now 6 years, this investigation into Manchester City, and this is why it boils my blood. In that 6 years, look at what they've achieved. Now, a lot of people are trying to desensitize us to the impact of Manchester City and what they've done, and trying to get us used to the idea that they're successful. But how they got to this position needs to be looked at. And if they are found guilty of one, some or all of these charges, I cannot say strongly enough how much I want the book thrown at them. Because if proven, they will have stuck 2 fingers up to every other club, to every other set of fans, to clubs trying to do things in the right way, owners trying to build their clubs in the right way, and being duplicitous and troublesome and unhelpful and uncooperative all the way through. It's the whole Lance Armstrong thing for me. I didn't do it and done nothing, didn't do it, got found out, alright, maybe I did it then. So, I'm somebody that believes in, if you put your hands up and you admit to what you've done wrong, that should be a mitigating factor, and that should stand you in good stead. But they haven't done that. At every avenue, they've dragged this out. So I feel, if proven, the book should be thrown at them with the harshest sanctions, because they've shown no remorse for these acts, if proven. So they should be treated accordingly. Andre said, I think this is bad compensation. This means Premier League would prefer City to win the court case. I don't trust that City get what they deserve. It absolutely doesn't mean that, Andre. Premier League rules are such that clubs can sue other clubs. That's in the rules. But this is going to be seeking compensation for loss of earnings from potential title winning seasons, European qualification, maybe relegation matters. I don't know who else is involved in it. But this speaks to nothing of the Premier League. This is individual clubs deciding if they would like to take action against Manchester City for loss of earnings or loss of for compensation for prize money or whatever. The Premier League doesn't come into it. You know, it's not them making the decision or not making the decision. This is down to the clubs. And compensation, by the way, wouldn't be their punishment. This is a separate matter altogether. Like, if the Premier League punish Manchester City for X, Y, or Z, that's got nothing to do with the other clubs who are going to seek the compensation. That's a separate thing altogether. That will be on top of whatever punishments are handed out. But even at that, by the way, that's going to be appealed either side. So if City win, I would very much hope the Premier League appeal it. And if the Premier League win, I would very much expect Manchester City to appeal it. So I think this is going to rumble on for further months, unfortunately. Right, I'm going to say goodnight to you all. There'll be a news video out in the morning, but there won't be any more live streams till Saturday night because we're over in Liverpool. So before I head off, we're 50 likes short. If you can hit that like button, really would appreciate it. Don't forget as well to check out and subscribe to the Red Mist podcast even. The link's pinned to the top of the chat. But mainly do get those likes up. Appreciate your support. And yeah, we're looking forward to getting over to Liverpool on Friday and catching up with all our friends over there. If you're at the show, can't wait to see it and say hello. And if not, I will see you back here on Saturday night for another show. Much love, my friends. Enjoy yourselves. Bye-bye.